Airports turn ordinary people into stressed-out jugglers. You're barefoot, holding a laptop in one hand, a boarding pass in the other, and wondering if you remembered deodorant while a stranger inspects your socks. Now imagine being a TSA officer, watching thousands of us shuffle through every single day, and then discovering the bizarre, messy, and downright questionable things people try to bring on planes. Today we're counting down the 15 items TSA officers absolutely hate to see in your bag. And by the end, you'll probably rethink what you're packing for your next trip. 15. Fresh foods that leak, smell, or rot. Let's start messy because TSA officers really don't enjoy this one. Every single week, somebody shows up with a suitcase full of fresh fish, a block of pungent cheese, or a Tupperware container of Grandma's legendary curry. The idea might be sweet. I'm bringing home a taste of comfort, but the execution is a disaster. The moment one of those lids pops open, the security checkpoint turns into a crime scene. Sauce leaking down the rollers, shrimp juice dripping onto other people's bags, the smell of overripe brie hanging in the air like a punishment. Now put yourself in the officer's shoes. It's 7 a.m. They've already confiscated 3 water bottles and a suspicious-looking snow globe, and suddenly they're wrist-deep in a suitcase that smells like a fish market in July. That odor doesn't just vanish. It clings to uniforms, gloves, and everything else in reach. By the time the next traveler steps up, the whole checkpoint smells like eau de seafood, and nobody, passenger or officer, wants to deal with that before coffee. 14. Wrapped gifts and mystery packages. During the holidays, airports start looking less like transportation hubs and more like Santa's workshop after a caffeine binge. People drag through the line with bows, ribbons, and packages wrapped so perfectly you can tell someone spent 2 hours making the corners sharp enough to cut glass. TSA officers don't hate the presents themselves. They're not Grinches, but they do hate what those packages represent. Metallic wrapping paper and shiny bows scramble the scanners, which means your masterpiece doesn't stay intact for long. Picture it. You hand over a box that looks like it belongs in a Macy's display window, and 30 seconds later, an officer is tearing it apart under buzzing fluorescent lights. The fruitcake inside is still intact, but the wrapping paper that once screamed holiday joy now looks like a raccoon got into it. Officers know they're crushing the Christmas spirit in front of an audience, but rules are rules. And nothing kills holiday cheer faster than watching your thoughtful surprise get surgically unwrapped on a plastic inspection table while strangers glance over and think, so that's what a ruined Christmas looks like. 13. Powders that look suspicious. Protein powder, instant coffee, baby formula. On the scanner, it all shows up as the same suspicious-looking white dust. TSA hates this because the moment it appears, everything has to stop. They've got to swab it, test it, and stand there hoping it's not something that's going to land you both in a federal report. Now imagine being the officer holding up a Ziploc bag full of whey protein, like it's evidence on CSI. The traveler, meanwhile, is flexing in the background saying, "It's for my gains, bro." Sure, maybe it is, but while your pre-workout gets treated like contraband, 50 other passengers are stuck in line, silently glaring at you as their boarding group gets called without them. 12. Large electronics buried in clothes. Here's a scene straight out of a comedy. The scanner lights up with a big solid rectangle wrapped in layers of fabric. TSA officers don't even need to guess. They know someone decided to wedge a laptop or a PlayStation right in the middle of their clothes like it's a secret stash. The problem is, electronics packed this way show up on the screen looking less like a gaming console and more like a block of C4. Now the officer has to stop the line, unzip your bag, and go treasure hunting through your socks and underwear just to fish it out. Nobody, on either side of the table, wants your laundry flung across a plastic tray in front of 50 impatient strangers. But that's exactly what happens when you pack like a Tetris rookie and forget the golden rule. Keep the big gadgets easy to grab. 11. Lithium batteries in checked bags. Lithium batteries are the tiny villains of air travel. Pop one in your checked bag and congratulations. You've just turned your suitcase into a rolling fire hazard. These little power bricks can overheat, spark, and in the worst-case scenario, start a fire in the cargo hold where nobody can reach it. That's why TSA bans them from checked luggage. Simple rule, right? Yet week after week, officers keep pulling them out of bags like it's a never-ending game of hide and seek. Travelers argue, but it's just a power bank, as if the fire cares whether it's charging an iPhone or running a Tesla. TSA officers hate this not because they enjoy lecturing, but because they know what's at stake. A mid-air bonfire is not the kind of in-flight entertainment anyone signed up for. 10. Aerosol cans, hairspray, bug spray, even spray paint. Some people pack aerosols like they're prepping for a slumber party and a home makeover show at the same time. TSA officers hate these cans because, to them, they're basically tiny pressurized rockets just waiting for the wrong conditions. All it takes is a little heat or cabin pressure, and suddenly that innocent can of mousse looks like it wants to launch itself into orbit. In their minds, it's a slow-motion movie scene. A canister of hairspray overheating mid-flight and turning row 17 into a makeshift beauty salon explosion. And just when they think they've seen it all, someone decides to actually use it in the security line. A quick spritz of bug spray, or a little cloud of hair product to tame the flyaways. Meanwhile, the officer is staring like, "Are you seriously doing your bangs on my conveyor belt right now?" It's the kind of chaos that makes their coffee go cold before they've even had a sip. 9. Tools longer than 7 inches. You'd be amazed at how many people think it's totally fine to pack hammers, crowbars, or giant wrenches in their carry-on like they're about to open a hardware store in seat 22. TSA hates these because the rule is simple. Anything longer than 7 inches is classified as a potential weapon. And yet, travelers argue every time. But it's just for fixing things, they say, clutching a wrench the size of a toddler. Sure, maybe you were planning on tightening some bolts on the tray table, but from the officer's perspective, nothing screams potential air rage incident louder than someone whipping out a hammer at 30,000 feet. And then there's the comedy of scale. Tiny pocket screwdriver? Probably fine in checked luggage. Full-on crowbar? Definitely not. TSA officers are left shaking their heads, wondering what goes through people's minds. Did you really think a screwdriver set belonged in the overhead bin next to someone's backpack and neck pillow? The only thing you're fixing mid-flight is the collective patience of everyone in line behind you. 8. Sporting equipment like baseball bats and golf clubs. This one's classic. People think, it's just a bat. What harm can it do? TSA officers hate this because sporting equipment doubles as weapons. Try explaining why you thought a hockey stick belonged in row 14. Agents know the second they see a golf club in the scanner, it's going to be a long conversation. And no, you can't just put it under the seat in front of you. Unless you're playing in-flight mini-golf, it's not happening. 7. Replica or toy guns. On the scanner, a toy gun looks exactly like a real one. TSA officers hate these because they have no choice but to treat it seriously until proven otherwise. That means alarms, supervisors, and delays. Imagine a Nerf blaster causing a full security lockdown. Nobody cares if it's neon orange and shoots foam darts. TSA has to follow protocol, and nothing makes officers groan louder than confiscating a plastic cowboy revolver from a 6-year-old's backpack. 6. Knives, box cutters, and ninja-style blades. It doesn't matter if it's a pocket knife or a samurai sword. TSA hates blades. Travelers always argue, but it's just for cutting apples. TSA doesn't care. A blade is a blade, and officers aren't about to let someone play Fruit Ninja in seat 23B. Every year, they confiscate thousands of knives, including throwing stars. Yes, people really try to bring ninja stars on planes. Officers hate it because it's equal parts dangerous and ridiculous. 5. Fireworks and flares. Here's where TSA's patience really runs out. People actually pack fireworks, Roman candles, firecrackers, even signal flares. TSA officers hate this because it's so obviously dangerous, yet it still happens. Imagine pulling a bundle of bottle rockets out of a carry-on and looking someone in the eye while they shrug and say, "They're just for later." Later? On what planet? Fireworks don't belong in the sky at 35,000 feet, and TSA officers know it. 4. Snow globes and decorative liquids. Snow globes look innocent, right? Wrong! TSA hates them because the liquid inside is impossible to measure. Is it harmless glitter water or something sinister? The scanner can't tell, which means your charming holiday souvenir turns into a security headache. Nothing ruins the magic of Christmas faster than TSA confiscating your snow globe while Jingle Bells plays faintly in the background. 3. Peanut butter, cream cheese, and other spreadables. Here's the one that always blows people's minds. TSA classifies peanut butter as a liquid. Yep, the same peanut butter that sticks to the roof of your mouth. Officers hate this because travelers argue non-stop. It's solid, it's food, it's for my kid, none of that matters. If it spreads, it counts. And no, you can't just sit there in line eating half a jar to make it legal. 2. Full-size bottles of shampoo and lotion. This is the one that makes TSA officers question their life choices. The rule has been around forever. No liquids over 3.4 ounces. And yet, people still toss Costco-sized shampoo bottles into their carry-on like they've never heard of travel sizes. TSA hates it because it always sparks arguments. But it's almost empty, they protest. Almost empty still looks like a suspicious liquid bomb on the scanner. Officers sigh, the line slows, and another bottle goes in the trash. 1. Liquids over 3.4 ounces. And finally, the crown jewel of TSA's least favorite discoveries, the universal offender. The reason so many trash bins at airports are filled with expensive perfume and half-drunk Gatorade bottles. Liquids over 3.4 ounces. TSA officers hate this, not because they're mean, but because it happens constantly. Every single day, thousands of travelers forget the most basic rule, and each time the officer has to explain it again while a line of frustrated passengers looks on. It's the number one thing they hate, because it's the number one thing we never seem to learn. So that's the countdown. 15 items TSA officers absolutely hate to see in your bag. They don't hate them out of spite. They hate them because each one slows down the line, sparks arguments, and makes airports even more stressful than they already are. The truth is, these rules exist to keep everyone safe, even if they ruin your travel-sized peanut butter dreams. Now I want to hear from you. What's the weirdest or most embarrassing thing you've ever had confiscated at airport security? Drop your story in the comments, and let's see whose tale takes the crown. And if you want more strange travel stories and tips, stick around. The skies may be unpredictable, but at least we can laugh about it together.